Hello YouTube, welcome back. Here's another video from me. It's been a while, but here we are. This is mostly me trying out a new setup to see if this works out better than previously. I've always had problems with lighting and with the resolution of the videos. So I'm trying it in a different way. Today I'm trying to film using my phone with some additional lighting and with a kind of a different setup. So let's see if this works out. And other than that, I'm just going to ramble on for a bit, talk about some things for a bit, and then we'll see if it works out or not. So today the main topic is basically me trying to talk a bit about officially licensed game reproductions for old games. So what I'm talking about is games that are being re-released nowadays for older platforms such as the Super Nintendo, the NES, the Mega Drive, platforms like these that are games that have been released back then officially and that are now being re-released but in an official license capacity. I know that you could always, for years already, you could buy bootlegs of many games, also of many expensive games. I understand people who may do this. I would probably never do this. For me, it doesn't make any sense to pay somebody who probably just imports from China a 10-pack or I don't know, dozens of the same game and then for really, really cheap, and then sells them off here in a different country for 10 times the amount that they paid, and oftentimes doesn't even tell people, or oftentimes people aren't even aware that they're not buying original games, genuine games. So for me, this was never an option to do so. If other people want to do this, it's their money, they can do what they want. I wouldn't go that route. I'm trying to basically get all of my collection whenever it's possible to get original games from back in the day, but I'm also making some exceptions for some games when it's just simply too expensive, or when I'm not ready to pay X amount of money for a really old game that maybe is not one of my favorite games that I really urgently want in my collection. I will make an exception if something like this is re-released via an official way. So here we are. So I'm going to show you today a few of these games that I bought so far, and I'm just going to talk a bit about these games. So for me, it started quite a while ago. The very first game, I think the very first official re-release that I bought back in the day was Street Fighter 2 for Super Nintendo from IM 8-bit. So that's this one. When I got this, I was actually positively surprised because, in my opinion, this is a beautiful packaging for the game. It's really nicely done. Of course, it includes the game as well. Let me just try and open it here to show you. So here we have the game in a red shell even. I think there were some games printed even in a green shell that were like just randomly inserted, and if you have one of the green ones, it's even more limited or even rarer than this version. But personally, I don't really mind. For me, it was about getting a nice copy of this game into my collection. And to be honest, back then, as I said, this was the first one that I bought, the first official reproduction. For me, this was more of a novelty back then, because it's not like Street Fighter 2 was one of my favorite games of all time, or that I had really needed a boxed copy of this game. But for me, it was like, hey, it's a relatively cheap way to get like a new in box, brand new game that looks like they are actually putting some effort into this. So yeah, really, I'm really happy with this one. This one is done by I Am 8-Bit. So this was the first one I had in my collection. There's another one which I acquired not too long after, but that was just part of, I think, of a lot of games that I bought. It was just included. I wouldn't have actively gone out to get this. This is the Joan Mac Caveman Ninja collection for Super Nintendo. Once again, this one is done by Retrobit. Also nice. The interesting thing here is, as you can see and as you can guess, there are several games on the cartridge. So not just one game, but 3 games in total on the same cartridge. Then another one I got, let's go with this one. That's one that I actually really wanted to have in a nice box, and it's one that's becoming quite expensive. It's also quite a good game, and it's a game that I have actually a relation to with in regards to my previous work that I did. So this one is R-Type, Super R-Type, and R-Type 3, the third Lightning for Super Nintendo. This is a collector's box of the game. This one I got, and I'm really happy with it. So as you can see from the title, this also includes 2 games. If you open it up, it's really nicely done. There's a lot of bonus content here in this one. So you have the game itself in a nice box, or the games I should rather say, because it's both of them. I really don't care that much for the first Super R-Type. Everyone knows, or almost everyone knows, that it's very technically flawed game. But the third one, the third Lightning, in my opinion, is a really good shooter for Super Nintendo. And as I said, I have like a personal relationship with this game. There's something there. So it comes with a few certificates of authenticity, and some postcards are in here, and there's a notebook included, and there's also like an animal pin down there somewhere. So yeah, that one I would say is also one of my favorite games that I bought, one of the favorite reproductions, officially licensed ones. And then I got a few more rather recently, let's say. So especially when it's about really expensive games, this is an option that I say, yeah, that's okay for me, I can live with that. I'd rather have it officially licensed as a reproduction than buy an unlicensed bootleg cartridge of it. So one of the games that I got is from Strictly Limited. This is Wild Guns. In this case, this is the NTSC version. And really the only reason why I got this one is I already have the PAL version, like the original PAL version, in a mint box. I got this for very, very cheap, for like €8, almost 2 decades ago, I guess, now at this point. But I always wanted to also have the NTSC version, the US version. And now I got to buy the NTSC version in brand new mint condition for an okay price. That's not out of this world. Like, this is one of the most expensive games for Super Nintendo, especially in PAL territories. I don't know if it's one of the most important ones for NTSC, but yeah, that was the reason why I got it. Then there's another 2 games. They're also strictly limited. This is first one is the Super Turrican Collection, and the next one is Super Turrican 2. And yeah, similar reason, if you want to buy copies of these games in box that are in nice condition, it's probably like at least 4 digits, and this is not something I'm willing to pay. I want to be eventually able to play the games. I want to put them on my shelf, and I want to look at them and remind myself why I actually am looking at them. There is some history also with these games. So yeah, that's why I got those. Next one was this is a limited run release. This is Rendering Ranger, again one of the really expensive ones, and again one of these games which I would never pay the asking price for it just to put it in my collection, because this is a game I don't have like any history with, but I would like to one day play it, and I would like to have it in my collection, because it seems to be a really technically also interesting game, but I'm not paying the prices that are asked for it for original copies. So I got this licensed one. And since I was mentioning now this one is by limited run, and some of the others were by like strictly limited, I am also aware that a lot of people don't like any of these kinds of companies. I can also understand, and I can agree in some ways. I also wish I could just buy these games when they are done and ready from, say, Amazon, or go to a local electronic or a game store and buy them there for the same price. But unfortunately, most of the time you actually have to go through the hoops and pre-order from these stores, because they are actually only doing limited runs of these, and then you are forced to pay, and then sometimes you're waiting for a year or longer. So I wish the situation was different. I wish I was able to simply buy it off somewhere else for the same price later, without having to pre-order and without having to wait and without having to support some of the practices that some of these companies are doing. But unfortunately, in a lot of these cases, there isn't really an alternative. So yeah, if anyone wants to change the situation by actually printing enough copies of these games and to actually put them out in the wild after release, and not having to rely on companies like Limited Run for this, or Strictly Limited, be my guest. I will be the first to actually buy the games if they are on the shelf somewhere, and not having to pre-order them. I would actually really like it. So yeah, next we have, this is something that's similar and also a bit different. This is Undercover Cops for the Super Nintendo. Again, it is officially licensed, and it is like kind of a reprint or a new re-release, but the additional change for this one is that this game back then was only released in Japan. So it was not localized back then for the Western markets. And this release now that you could buy now from, what is it? Who was doing this? Retrobit. This was actually localized into English. So that's another bonus on top of everything. So yeah, and this is again one of these really expensive games, and now you even get the bonus of even getting to play it in English. So another one from the Turrican series. When I pre-ordered or bought the Turrican collection for Super Nintendo, I also did the same for Mega Drive. Here's Mega Turrican, simply because again, on every platform these games are so expensive. So yeah, it made sense to order them. Then yeah, there's another one. That's a series also that wasn't really released over here. That's Hammer and Harry for NES. As you can see, this is also like a really nice packaging. It includes a display stand and all of this stuff. And yeah, I got this because I could buy this relatively cheap after the fact. This is not something I pre-ordered or that I bought directly from one of these companies. Instead, I ordered it after the fact from a German game shop that actually had this one in stock. So yeah. Similarly, King of Demons for Super Nintendo was also something I bought after the fact. This is again one of those that actually got a localization for this re-release. And also this one, Assault Suits Vulcan. Same here. Also did not like pre-order this. I just got this off a German game shop that actually had these in stock for a reasonable price. I think not a lot more expensive than if I had pre-ordered it and waited for it probably for a year or even longer. So yeah, that's it for the moment. That's all I wanted to show you. That's all I wanted to talk to you about. There are a few other games, like a similar topic, games that are being released on modern platforms in like packaging and everything that resembles the original licensed releases from back in the day. But games that are like original games that are newly done or that maybe weren't released back then at all. I have a few of those as well, but if I will cover them, I will do so in a different video. So yeah, that's it for the moment. Just as that, just a short video, mostly me trying to see if the new setup works out or not. So with this, I'm saying goodbye, and I hope to see you all in the next video. That's it. Have a nice day, and see you next year, I guess. Bye bye.